A breakup does more than simply end a relationship. It can make you feel alone and unwelcome, and even ruin your sense of self-worth. Your mental health may greatly suffer as a result, particularly if you still harbor feelings for your ex. However, there are strategies to go past it and emerge from it more resilient and healthier. When you are at your lowest and most vulnerable, it can seem simple and even condescending to point out that you should consider your mental health. Your entire life may seem to have stopped, that all of your aspirations and hopes have been crushed to dust. Perhaps you just want to be left alone as you try to figure out what went wrong. You should probably take a stock of all you have done and consider what you may have done better to stay with the person you still love. However, that's never an objective judgment, especially when you are in love with your ex. That's the inevitable truth. The transition from what went wrong to it's my fault is swift and agonizing. The truth may only made worse by the inward spiral. Moving on is the only way to escape it. Here are 5 modest and practical steps you can start taking immediately, even though it might feel insurmountable. Tip number 1. Cut off all direct and indirect communications. This is the first action you must take for the benefit of your bodily and emotional well-being. You don't need to know who they are with or where they are. Stop communicating with your ex with an immediate effect. Yes, living their lives can be heartbreaking. However, your own journey now takes precedence and they have no place in it. Now is the moment to put yourself first rather than your ex's social plans. Additionally, you should also understand that you can't merely be friends with them anymore. Regardless of what you have read or seen, it can be difficult and ultimately unsuccessful endeavor to restore and maintain an ending relationship. To put it simply, you cannot be friends with your ex. Maybe in a few years. So, leave their social media networks or chat groups. However, deliberately disconnecting is only part of the solution. You should not passively try to be close to them. You should not monitor their activities via social media or shared friends. Remember that any direct or indirect communication with them will elicit memories of the past and even dreams about the future. These are the things that will keep you stuck when you should be moving forward. Tip number 2. Forgive the past. Breakups, understandably, often leave people feeling regretful and angry. You are continually considering what else you could have done, or you are upset over your or your ex's behavior, or consider the conditions that compelled you to act the way you did. The more you think about it, the more you're drawn into the vortex. When there is betrayal, things can get complicated. Every time you revisit an event or discussion, your emotions shift between regret and rage. When you realize you cannot do anything about it, your emotions become severe. This produces a vicious cycle of regret leading to rage, which leads to powerlessness and back to regret. This can be upsetting if you still love your ex. In such a case, you'll be willing to ignore their defects while recognizing weaknesses in your own personality. That is a downward spiral that will keep you from moving forward. The solution is not to reject the past. You cannot forget your way out of such an intensely emotional experience. What you must do is forgive your history. You must objectively describe what happened, either in a notebook or in soft talk. Then you must forgive your ex's behavior. More significantly, yourself. This is not a sign of weakness, but of absolute strength and maturity. By forgiving the person and their actions, you are not condoning them. You're simply expressing that you won't harbor any bad feelings toward them anymore. This cannot be a one-off occurrence. Even if you forgive yourself or your ex today, anything may trigger their recollections tomorrow. You have to consciously forgive again until you can recollect the events without feeling remorse or hatred. Tip number 3. Let's be realistic. Let's be honest. A relationship has two facets: genuine and illusion. Unfortunately, following a breakup, people tend to hold on to the illusion rather than the truth. This imagining includes both the relationship and the person involved. So, when you say you'd like to go back and be with them because it was the most beautiful and fulfilling time in your life, you are not reflecting objectively on the relationship. You are describing a fantastical interpretation of it. Because if everything had gone perfectly, there would have been no ending. Things happened for a variety of reasons. When you reflect on your relationship, you only remember the positive aspects while ignoring the negative ones. The unpleasant parts of the relationship and the person accountable for them may get distorted as you magnify the positive aspects. To improve your mental health, you must reflect realistically about the situation. There might have been some delight, but there would also have been obvious pain. That will give you a full image of what you just gone through. It will also help you create a realistic image of your ex. Journaling your thoughts will help make this process more meaningful and lasting. Writing down every facet of your relationship will help you create an authentic future. It will also ensure that you do not reproduce it in any other way tomorrow. When you write down how it truly was, the process will allow you to move on. Tip number 4. Understand that it is okay to still adore your ex. It's problematic if you suddenly develop animosity for your ex. It's natural to have conflicting sentiments about someone, to detest them one moment and then love them the next. Our emotions do not always follow a predictable route. There are highs and lows as well as some nasty turns in between. So if you find yourself still in love with your ex, don't blame yourself for being unable to move on. These are the remaining emotions from your relationship. What you formerly felt for them was genuine and powerful, and it is difficult to turn off that half of yourself when a breakup occurs. In fact, you should convince yourself that it is not a bad thing. The fact that you still feel love indicates that you are human and capable of both giving and receiving it. But you should also remind yourself that it is a different type of love. It is more grown and mature emotional state than the possessive part of passionate love. This one is about nostalgia and acceptance. Consider it in this way. It's the love you have for a place you have already visited. That was a good trip, but you have no plans to go back and relive it. You are ready for new adventures. Tip number 5. If I may ask, what is the most reliable indicator that your mental health is good? Yeah, it is a no-brainer. You adore yourself. More specifically, you comprehend, accept, forgive, and sympathize with yourself. It is one of the most difficult things to do, which is why it reflects well on your mental health. Especially if you are living a relationship with an ex who you still adore. You are particularly vulnerable at this point, wondering if you are worthy of love and if you ever meet someone like your ex. Instead of looking outward, focus on strengthening your inner core. The key is to shift how you speak to yourself. Remove any negative thoughts from your head and constantly remind yourself that you have all you need to brighten someone's day, and that person will do the same for you. The fact that it did not happen with your ex does not reflect on you or her. It was due to the extraordinary conditions. You will continue to attract love since you possess attributes that powerfully attract people to you. Moving on from an ex can be beneficial to one's mental health. It is a process that will have both good and terrible days. But all you have to do is to convince yourself that things are improving every day and that you're shedding the past, letting go of your emotional baggage and emerging stronger and better. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share.